Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Motorsport Manager, where we are now in the third season. And last race we actually did very well. As you can see, we're in second. That was only after one race, of course, the first one of season 3. But yeah, we finished 4th and 6th with Coburn and Bjelland here. So that is definitely something that we didn't do too bad. It also means that our car is really on the up and up, to be honest. Because, yeah, normally you don't get that result even if it is the first races of the season. We had one pit mistake, I think it was a very short one, something like 1.2 seconds. So that's not too bad. Brownlich wins the Black Sea GP, great. Yeah, we did make a mistake in basically firing our pit crew involuntary by not renewing them on time. I'm sort of trying to remedy that situation slowly. We have some higher mistakes than I would want, but I'm slowly working on that. And yeah, we'll get back there. As you can see, this nurse perk that we gave Coburn, which her mechanic has, this one, is really strong at the start of the season. Because she dropped by like, I don't know, 19% less, I think we could see. Car condition, yeah, 19%. That's maybe also due to her being a bit better at preserving the car, as she has better stats, but I don't remember exactly which one of these stats might do that, but yeah. I think it's a very useful perk to have early on, let's just say. Alright, we got some sponsor offers. Let's wait a little bit, because I know there's 2 open up there, so I want to see 6 as a number. That's 5, not 6. Alright, a scouting report. Nope, not good enough. No marketability. And let's have a look quickly at what we are going to be improving still on our car. This looks perfectly fine to me. Except our gearbox is going to be finished very soon, and I'm wondering if we won't just switch to that one. Probably not for this race yet. So I think for now, let's stick to this until all of these are to 80% reliability, and then we'll see what happens. Alright, there is our next gearbox. Let's immediately make another. Both of these gearboxes I think we'll actually use, so let's pick these actually, because this is best for immediately using it. We are soon going to have a level 2, I think it's called a telemetry center or something, that allows us to do epic parts on our gearbox. That means we're going to be making at least 2 more gearboxes before the end of the season, and those will be probably illegal. So yeah, we'll be using 2 gearboxes and the rest will leave as is. Let's build this one immediately. And in 13 days we'll get back to that. So sponsor offers, now they are full. And this looks like a no-brainer to me. Get the $1 million up front and also 600,000 bonus payment for 7th position, which is definitely doable as we proved last race, at least early in the season. And yeah, this is just an inferior version of this one. And 400,000 isn't that worth it, even though it is easier to get. And it's only for 4 races anyway, so if we can even get this one once, it's already quite worth it. Second slot. Yeah, like I said, we're almost never going to get first. So here you just want to always take the upfront payment, which in this case is 2 million. Very nice. Let's leave it at that. Gearbox is finished. Let's have a look. Should be decent. Yeah, we immediately put some more reliability on it too, and it has a little bit more stats, but I don't think we'll be using it yet this race. It's also not that necessary to do so, I think. But we could, I suppose. We just stop working on this one and focus all our work on that one, but let's see where we can get it up to, I guess. Could have maybe done that a little bit earlier then, but let's have a look. Once we are around 80% anyway, I think with about a few days left of the race, I want to start working a little bit on the engines as well, because I think that will be quite important. Make sure that we can actually run it on the aggressive mode for a little bit longer. Let's have a look. Everything should be around 80%. Yes, it is. Okay. So yeah, the suspension and the gearbox take the longest, and with these sequential pit stops now being in place, brakes also take a little bit of time to work on. That's not the end of the world. think I'm gonna stop working now on this gearbox. And maybe start working on one of the engines so that we can run a bit more aggressive. Or probably actually give that engine then to Bjelland, and Coburn can actually still have her nurse perk. So that anyway, her engine will stay quite decent. Alright, how does that look? Everything is looking pretty decent. Alright, yeah, that's pretty good for the next race. We have a little bit of money, actually. Let's also do what we shouldn't forget to do every season, and that is beg the chairman once per season for some more money. Right now he's at his happiest, and now he's still decently happy. At least we're secure, so that's fine. It's always good to do this early on, I think, because that's also when you typically tend to get your best results, especially if you're not a pack leader, which we are not yet. We have about 7 million. So we could be looking into getting our next HQ upgrade. Yeah, telemetry center is almost done. That will get us to epic parts on the gearbox. The suspension could also be interesting to get to epic level. It does cost 8 million, so we would go into a little bit of debt. But I'm willing to do that, since anyway we're gonna have our race very soon. That will get us another 2 to 3 million. And then we'll also be able to build our next gearbox after that race. Munich, 29 laps, 40% chance of rain. That is everything we need to know. And let's keep going. Gearbox build finished. Great. This is probably the second gearbox that we will use till the end of the season. And this one we can also get to a decent level. So we'll probably start working on that one's reliability soon also. I think the brakes will stop with after the race. Maybe now actually we'll also still... No, we don't need to work on this one. We're gonna not be using these ones soon anyway. So that's fine. Okay. Yeah, there's the telemetry center. What do you look like now? Like an upgraded telemetry center. Great. And let's get ready for Munich then. Race weekend. And we desperately need it too, because that balance is not looking too good for us. Parts. Let's make sure that that is okay. We're actually giving the best parts to Coburn, as is tradition. Looks like our brake set is actually not the best in the league anymore, so someone overtook us. Fair enough. Yeah, the new gearbox we cannot use yet. This one we can, so let's give that to Coburn. Yeah, Coburn has all the best parts now. That's fine. Does she have the engine that we want her to have? Yeah, so we actually want to give him the better engine, because Coburn can anyway use that perk to not have the reliability drop too much, let's say. Alright, and let's get into Germany, into this beautiful nature track. Nice grandstands also in front of the pit lane, so very cool looking track, I think, this one, with the fields all around it. I always like the nature-oriented tracks. As always, we use Coburn and Dior for their feedback rating. And I think with 27 laps, we'll probably just end up doing some stints of soft. Put these right in the edge. Yeah, we'll just do softs, I think. 10 to 12, and for you, 9 to 11. So that's 10 on average. Yeah, that means you should be able to do a 2-stop. And then we'll, of course, have to see what happens with the rain, but should be okay, I think. Alright. Send you out there. Get that practice on. There you go. And there you go. And get out of there. Bring you in immediately again. Let's see what that does for us. Very poor, very poor, very poor. Okay. Well, obviously that is not where we need to be. Let's slide you right on over to the middle somewhere. See if we're a lot closer then. Same here, and same here. And send you out again. And for you, at least you have one great and a good. So that means we're in the ballpark. Obviously the downforce needs to be adjusted a bit. You probably a bit more this way. And you can just stay sort of where you are. That's fine. Once we're around great, I don't mind finicking with it too much anymore. You back in. Let's see what that did for us. 4 great, good. Okay, well that's better than very poor on all sides, but still not really where we want to be, of course. So let's take you still a lot this way. Let's keep the grade around where it is, and see if we go to the left a bit, if that matters. We'll need to bring you in once more. You also didn't improve that much, I don't think. No. We actually went worse on the handling, so we need to take that the other way. Probably like here, I suppose. And the very poor went to good, so probably a bit more that way. The speed balance we can just bring back to where it was. Something like this. See if that works. Alright. But we're not gonna let a level 3 feedback. Because we're bringing in these guys an awful lot. But sometimes that's necessary. Alright, now you're at excellent, great, excellent. That means you can now finally go out for the rest of your stint. And you are excellent, great, great. Same story then. Get out there and get us some practice points. Alright, well level 2 should definitely be doable at least still, but level 3 is looking unlikely, let's say. At least they're very happy with their setups. So that's nice. Yeah, and they're not setting very good times right now, but that makes sense since I fully loaded their car with fuel. That should cost them about a full second, I think, so... Yeah, makes sense, let's say. Don't think we'll be getting level 3 unless we get very lucky. No, looks like the counter already stopped. Okay. Alright, well... Sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and we didn't get it in that practice session, I suppose. Ooh, looks like rain. Alright. It's gonna spice things up. Looks like a lot of rain. Alright, okay, so that's definitely starting on the wet then. Get the race trim one, and I think the nurse, who keep her engine good. And for you, I like having the quick pit stops without much risk, so let's pick that as well. The wet tire should last us for 15 laps. We're gonna get 12 laps of fuel, so that should be fine. Probably run them on orange the entire time. But for the first lap, as always, let's just put in a little bit of red. Actually, well, let's do it for the start. But after that, I'm curious if we can make 12 laps work. If we could be out of the rain on sort of a perfect stint, but I'm not sure about that. We'll play a little bit aggressive still. Oh, looks like someone ran white there. Sorry, Soze's. Soze. Timothy. Alright. Gonna call you Tim from now on. Yeah, that was unfortunate for him, but good for us. We gained a spot. Doesn't look like we lost much at all. Coburn went up. Bieland, I think, stayed the same. And now we're just sort of fighting our own drivers, which is not ideal, but fine. Alright, not bad. But Coburn is losing her spot to Tyler there, but yeah. As long as we're in the fight, I don't mind. I think we'll be pushing back a little bit now. But let's say do this, because Bieland is still more in the fight than Coburn. And then, yeah, I would like to sort of last till we know where the end of the rain is going to be at least, and not play too aggressively. I think that's at the very least a good thing. Oh, Coburn there ran wide, I think. Don't know what you did. Must have been running wide, I guess, because you just lost 4 spots. Alright, well that seals your spot as just having yellow for quite a while. I think we can maybe run the tires on orange at least. I don't think the tires are going to be a problem regardless of what we do. It's more about the fuel and how long we can make that work. Theoretically, we can do another 10 laps or so of Coburn if we put her to blue for a little bit, and we could do 9 laps of Bieland if we eventually pull him back to yellow on the engine. But I'm not sure yet what we want to do. It really is going to depend on this rain. For now it's looking like it's just going to stay like this, so I suppose we just keep it as is for a little while, and then we'll get back to them. Looks like our drivers are now losing quite severely. We are 19th and 20th with a 13-second gap to first, so far less than ideal, let's say. But I think that's also a little bit of the trickiness of the European Racing Series, where we got a very good early finish, but that means that we also basically had to start at the back of the pack for this race, and then it becomes very hard to overtake when your car and drivers aren't really up to that task, of course. Whereas if we got to start in front, it's still pretty hard for the opponents to overtake us. That's normally why we do a bit better if we're somewhere lower in the standings, but hopefully with some pit stops and whatever else we can do something. Looks like the rain is gonna level off a bit, but it will be a while still. I think we can do 6 more laps with Bjelland, 7 more with Coburn if we just keep running on yellow. I think she makes a little bit of fuel efficiency almost every lap. That helps us. And the tires should also be able to hold out for that, I think. So that's fine. And let's keep going then. Not really under the illusion that we're going to be overtaking too many people, to be honest. And I also don't really want to give team orders to either one of them. I don't particularly care who is challenging those back markers there. But it looks like Coburn, despite actually getting more power in his engine, is not doing too hot. Anyway, we're going to pull you back now because you are at 5 laps worth of fuel left, so we don't need to be burning the rest. And let's keep the tires on orange. I think that's just about fine. Okay, the rain is gonna drop off quite steeply, but not that steeply. It's not like it's gonna be dry in like 3 turns or anything like that. I'm not too sure about this. Let's see. It's starting to really get sort of in the territory of Inters though. If you sort of count that every one of those bars is, let's say, about 2 laps, I think. Almost. No, it's not. It's like 1.5 lap or something. And then there is quite a few laps still to do on a medium wet. Yeah. Okay. Not sure about that, to be honest. We'll have a look once we pass the racing line, and then we can see what is happening. Looks like we are finally fighting back a little bit for some spots. Alright, Coburn just passed the racing line. We're still very much in the middle of the hardest of the rain. Depending on how wet it stays, if it stays wet enough on track, we could just make the Inters last until our last stint. And then we do one final stint on either softs or mediums, depending on what we can make work at that time, because we do get 12 laps of fuel worth. So as long as we pit around this time, you know, lap 10, 11, we were going to be fine either way with doing 2 stints. So I think we'll go to Inters, most likely, because I don't think we can make softs work. We'd have to be way too many laps on soft, even with still having 2 and 3 laps to go. I think that is fine. And then, yeah, in 2 laps we'll be taking Bjelland. Yeah, I think that's sort of okay. I'll probably do red now on the last one, because you're gonna have enough fuel left. And you can probably go at least to orange. Got lots of people pitting now, let's see what they do. Most likely Inters, to be honest. Can't imagine anything else. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Let's bring you in. The tires are fairly worn, I know. Yeah, I think Inters are just the way to go here. We're gonna be way too many laps on slicks if we were to go for slicks, and that's horrible for your lap times. Don't want that. Let's get the roundup bonus as always. And since he has the perk, let's put him to fast without any penalty. How are your parts looking? good enough. All right, not bad. I think we have a sort of optimal strategy here. I might pull him back on orange for a little while so that the game doesn't get finicky and punish us for that 0.1 lap of fuel that we'd have left. You are gonna be close, so let's put you to the red now as well. You're gonna be in the pit lane very soon. I don't think we need to actually. This is kind of fine. Yeah, you're still at 0.2 or something, so just get you in the pit lane. All right, cars all looking good. Refueling, getting up there. There you go. We're not gonna get out ahead of these guys, but I think we're a lot closer than we were before. So yeah, well, sort of. All right, Coburn then. You need to, I think, still do the same. This is too many laps on wet terrain with for slicks, so let's do it like this. Same roundup bonus. We're gonna run both engines, I think, very aggressively because we don't need to do that many laps anymore, and we can also run the tires very aggressively because of that, I think. That's perfectly fine. We're in third right now, but that's obviously not gonna last for very long. I'm very curious who we're gonna get out ahead of, but I'm hoping a decent amount of people, but never know, of course. Also is gonna depend a little bit on the mistakes that might or might not be made. Alright. No mistakes. Quick. Get that fuel out. Get driving. Come on. Refueling took very long. Could have maybe refueled a little bit less, but looks like we'll get just about out ahead of the clump. So that's good. Give you red. Really want to fight off that clump. Alright, I think Coburn definitely gained some spots. Bjelland just sort of stayed equal. That's okay. Let's do something like this. I know we're gonna burn a lot of fuel, but that's fine, I think. We don't have that many laps to go. How many laps do we need to go now? 17. We have fuel on red for another, let's say, 8 laps. Or yeah, probably 8 laps. That means we have 1 full stint left, where we can also do all red almost. So I think we're going to be able to time that pretty perfectly. Very nice. The tires should also last us quite well. Put you just on red for a little bit until you're getting close to that warm-up. Yeah, I really don't think we would have made slicks work with how long that rain just stays out there. I guess it's not very warm. No, it's not warm at all. 13 degrees. But that's why it's taking so long for the track to actually warm up. Fair enough. And as soon as we can basically get our guys in for the last stint on slicks, and as soon, of course, as it's also a little bit less damp out there, we will. And then we do our last stint. So fair enough, we can burn as much fuel and tires as we want, pretty much. Just have to be a little bit careful of the temperature. We back a little bit. There you go. And this is fine. Alright. Coburn holding on to that 8th spot. Would be very nice if we could challenge for our sponsor objective, though. Bjelland, I'm not holding out too much hope for, to be honest. He's already a full 10 seconds behind Coburn. This is not his track. We set a best middle sector there, actually. Very nice. Oh, someone ran white. Very hard. Good. Very good for us. That's that 7th spot that we were trying to challenge for. And also immediately a pretty sizable gap between us and our competitors. Not bad. Do need to pull back a little bit on the tires again for the heating. Alright, so it's gonna be not optimal anymore to be on inters relatively soon, but we cannot make it work yet to already pit. We have 13 laps remaining. We need at least 12 laps worth of fuel. I think we'll stay out for at least 1 more lap. Perhaps 2, because that is still looking like a decent amount of rain. But the slicks won't be super optimal yet. I don't mind staying out for a little while longer, but I think we can really sort of start destroying these tires. Of course, Bjelland is the one that needs to go first. You would think. Well, not really, actually. We have so much fuel and tire left that if we really want to sacrifice his times a bit more for Coburn, it's not the end of the world, let's say. No one coming into pit yet. And the water level isn't really asking for it either, to be honest. 2 and 7th. An even more sizable gap now between us and 8th. So that is very nice. And I'm still suspecting that some people will need to repair parts. Ours are looking perfectly fine. All across the board pretty much. Except maybe this one. Coburn is setting some really good times, by the way. Very nice. Theoretically, we can do one more lap, I think, with Coburn. Yeah, she does really want to come in now. I think we might grant her that request. Because we'll have 11 laps remaining. That means we can run on orange for pretty much the remainder of the race. But we cannot make softs work. We would have to go on mediums, I think. Or well, we could make softs work, but we'd be running so conservatively. I don't like doing that. So either we make her stay out one more lap on inters. It is still a little bit wet. Or we bring her out on the mediums, but that is also quite the performance debuff. So I think what we'll do for now is we are going to run super aggressively. We're going to bring in Bjelland, because I think he can make it work. And Coburn, I really would like her to stay out for one more lap, if possible. And then go on the softs. And then we're sort of sacrificing Bjelland, because I think one more lap is sort of optimal. So yeah, Bjelland is getting a bit the short end of the stick. Wait, why is there 10 laps remaining now? After pit stop. Oh. Wait. What lap are we on right now? 19, but that's because the first has already gone past. So that's 11 laps right now. So that's, yeah, that's wrong. Okay, so there's going to be 12 laps, 11 laps remaining after pit stop. The game is messing with us. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, we can make it work, I think. We just need to play a little bit conservatively with Bjelland and his tires, but you can try and we can give him a little bit more fuel mode to make up for it, let's say. Bjelland is going to do one more run on red. That should work. We are the first to pit, except for Thunberg there. It's okay. Get you up there. Alright. And then, yeah, you need to really just be mindful, let's say. No, you don't need to be conserving fuel. This is perfectly fine. We're running it as dry as we can. And yeah, we might even do this for a little while. Just make sure we keep that yellow tire as up as we can. And I think now is the optimal time to pit. That means we can put on those softs. We can't run them hard or anything like that, but that is fine. A pretty quick pit stop because we already have some fuel in the bag. And we don't need to be repairing anything. Yeah, this is looking fine. That counter is wrong because someone has already gone past the start. So then the game thinks, oh wow, that's we're already one way further. Okay, some people are indeed fixing their parts. Let's hope for no mistakes. No mistakes, come on. And then we should get out ahead of them, I think. Yes, everyone fixing parts is not ahead of us, I think. So that would be very good for us. Now you can't run on orange or red, but you can definitely run your engine as high as possible. We get out in 8th and there's still 3 people that need to pit. So that I think is very good for us. Let's see what it does, of course, in actuality. Let's put you back to yellow. I think you should be kind of okay now for the rest of the race. Yeah, we have about 10 laps left to go. Well, 9.5 now. So we can run the fuel very aggressively on both our drivers. And hopefully the tire situation should also work out. Some more people pitting and doing repairs. But they are getting out now. So I think there was too much of a gap already with like Tulanipano and Kumar. But we are in 6th right now. with a pretty sizable gap to 7th. About 6 seconds. They're on mediums and they're running quite aggressively, but we are also running our engine very aggressively at least. Not the tires, because we can't really afford that, but they are also on mediums, so it would be nice if we could keep this level up, but let's see what happens. And let's just go a bit hard, because there isn't much else to do but watch at this point. We've done all the strategy we can. Rain isn't coming back. I think we did just about as well as we could with the timing there. There's still a tiny bit of water on track, but not enough to have any problems with the slicks. I think we're not going to be able to do much better than this, to be honest. Bjelland is getting 11th now, so that is also not too horrible. Need to be mindful of his tire heat. That is getting a little bit low. Let's push it up a little bit with some orange. Kind of have to, but I don't really like it. Oh, someone crashed. Adrian Earl crashed, but only a yellow flag, and he was also not in a position that really mattered to us, so that doesn't matter in the slightest, basically. Still about a 3.5 second gap to Tyler over there, who is running his setup very aggressively. Fair enough. Lap 24 just started, that means 6 laps to go. It also means we do need to put our engine back to orange now. That is a little bit dangerous, because Tyler is running his tires very aggressively. Does make me wonder, maybe we could have also just gone to mediums and just run them really aggressively instead of always trying to go for the softest tire possible and then having to really nurse them to the end of the race. But let's see. They can get till 10% before they really drop off, so hopefully that works out. We really need to keep this sort of don't like this at all. For Coburn the heating isn't a problem yet, but for Bjelland it really is, which is so unfortunate, to be honest. Alright, well, it is what it is. And back to yellow again. Every time he gets close again, we just need to put it back to orange. Okay, 5 laps to go. Tyler is getting dangerously close. With about, oh, it's a 3 second gap. It's not the end of the world, but it's also not as far away as we would like him to be, let's just say. Hey, there you go again. There goes that heating. We need to do about 4 more laps, so... yeah, your tire really isn't looking that good, to be honest. If we need to do 4 more laps on that, we might not make it. Because we drop off at 10%. You need about 10% per tire, so I'm not too sure that we're gonna make it, to be honest. We might eventually just really go on that backup mode, and I think that's still better than, even while the temperature is low, than running it on yellow or something, but yeah, this is just not ideal, let's say. About 2 seconds left of our gap between us and Tyler. We do need to start running the tires a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, I know. You're getting there. Alright. Looking okay now. Good, 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 good. 3 laps to go. Enough fuel to remain until the end of the race. Really just the tires that are now a problem. We might need to go to backup mode at some point. Yeah, maybe we should have just gone to mediums, to be honest. Your parts are starting to get bad, but you should be able to last till the end of the race. Okay, 2 laps remaining. 26%. We might also need to put her to blue soon, and I think for Bjelland that time has already come right now, because at 10% he's hitting that cliff and he's becoming incredibly slow. I think almost for her as well, we just need to do it now. And I know this is horrible because of temperature, but it's still better than already hitting the cliff immediately. And yeah, we're obviously gonna get passed because of that, but this way we can at least maintain our position somewhat decently. Alright, we are fine on the fuel. for both our drivers. Bjelland is already hitting his cliff. Now it's just even getting, to be honest, to the end of the race without a flat tire. When they explode, that's very, very bad. Yeah, we should have just gone for the mediums, especially on Bjelland. With a cold track like this, it's so hard to maintain your temperature. At least we got 7th on Coburn, so that's not bad at all, but kind of threw Bjelland's race away. I should have kept in mind how hard it would be to keep these tires cool. And it makes sense, to be honest, with how cold this track is, that we wouldn't be able to keep him warm enough. Yeah, 15. Sorry, buddy. I kind of cost you 3 spots there, I think, but at least we got our sponsor objective. I'm very happy with that. And we got 7th with Coburn. I think we did our tire situation as good as we could right up until the moment where I chose softs instead of mediums. I think mediums would have just been better for both of them. But that's a lesson for next time. When the temperature is this low, you cannot be basically picking the tires that only last for about their average, because they're not going to last for their average. Because you're going to need to run them more aggressive just to keep the heat up. But nonetheless, 600,000 is a very nice little bonus that we'll be getting. 15th is also not too bad for Bjelland. That's another 6 points in the bag. And yeah, obviously Bjelland is going to drop a little bit, but Coburn actually is 4th still. That is not bad at all. And we are still in 4th overall with 52 points. So very much a mid-table team. Let's see what that does for our financial situation. As that is, of course, early on the most important thing, pretty much. Alright, there you go. Got 5th overall, not too bad. Definitely something that's nice again for our team's marketability, I would hope. And nothing here changed too much, as always. Alright, very nice. Makes our chairman a bit happier too after we begged him for money. And we'll be getting a cool 3 million thanks to that sponsor objective, which is always a nice one to get. Let's see where that leaves us. I think we should immediately make another gearbox quickly before we forget next episode otherwise. And that will actually become an illegal one. Because, yeah, I don't want to be... well... yeah, we're not going to pick this one, so we're going to make that one. We can sort of make the entire thing not illegal except for this one. But there is no good alternative, so... yeah, ideally we'd of course want to use these already if we could. This season, but... I think you can make the case, honestly, to pick one of these and then that one. And then use these because they are a lot better. This is going to be 342. What is our current max? Of these parts. Gearbox is going to be 292. That is rather low. On the other hand, we're not really in a position to challenge for the title anyway yet, so I think we just have to think about our future and go for the illegal part. That's another plus 40, which is quite sizable. So we'll do this. That means we won't be using it this season just yet, but that was expected to, I suppose. By the way, if you're thinking why aren't we using any of these, obviously plus 50 is better, but it has a condition. If we put it to this, you can see that it doesn't actually do anything for your performance here. So this also doesn't carry over to next season. Yeah, you get a plus 50 bonus when you're on soft supers and ultras, but not for your next sets either. So that's why we're doing it like this. And these are actually going to be the gearbox that we're carrying over. This one and the one that we'll build next. And then we move on to the next parts. Let's immediately spend all our hard-earned money again. And I'll make sure I hire some decent pit crew if possible, but don't really seem like anyone is that good. I guess we can get you for the front jack, but yeah, we are very much running a skeleton crew of not so good people. But that's okay. We'll make do. There wasn't many mistakes anyway, so that kept everyone's stamina semi-decently. Alright, well, we are very much still in a decent spot. We nabbed 52 points in only 2 races so far, so that is also very nice. We are building a lot of upgrades on our HQ, making sure our parts are good as they can be, basically. We are in second now with the brakes. Unfortunately, it looks like Ruiz improved upon our brake set, which we of course stole, so not so bad. Alright, 7th, 2nd, and 9th. Not bad at all. I think that is a good point to wrap up. I want to thank you very much for watching. If you really like this video, maybe you could give it a thumbs up. I think that helps. I have no clue. Don't know much about YouTube. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.